What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Rational Wrestling Talk. This is the Rational Wrestling Mark, and I want to pose this question to you guys. Do you think that the Judgment Day is going to replace the Bloodline as the top faction? Essentially, do you think that Judgment Day right now is the new Bloodline in terms of the top faction, like the main WWE storyline? Because for the past 3 years, the Bloodline has been the main story. You know, the Bloodline has been a constant. And when the Judgment Day first got together with Edge originally as the leader, I had mixed feelings about it. I thought, Edge adopting a more darker character was all right. I mean, I've always preferred him as the rated R superstar gimmick because that's just how I became a fan of Edge. I didn't become a fan of Edge through the Brood. Personally, I prefer the rated R superstar gimmick. I don't really care for his darker personas, But I thought the theme song was dope, you know, very, very dope. But then when he recruited Damian Priest, and I thought to myself, well, this could definitely help Damian Priest definitely get a rub from Edge, and that can definitely help his career out. Because if you remember before the Judgment Day, I believe Damian Priest was the U.S. champion or had lost the U.S. champion, but he was mainly directionless. And he was really going nowhere. So that was good for his career. And then eventually Rhea Ripley joined, and her turning heel was the best thing for her career because she was getting stagnant as a babyface. And we're seeing how great of a heel she actually is. She's way better as a heel. Not saying that she can't play a good babyface, but as a babyface, she doesn't have that same um, she doesn't have that same presence, right? And she doesn't bring it hard enough as a babyface than she does as a heel. That's just my opinion. And then Finn Balor would join. And that whole double turn happened, and Finn Balor replaced Edge and kicked Edge out his own group that he started. And then by WrestleMania 39, then Dominic Mysterio joined, right? Which I believe is the best member of Judgment Day, is Dominic Mysterio. I believe personally that Dominic Mysterio pretty much is the Judgment Day at this point. Because if it ain't for Dominic and, Rhea Ripley to a certain degree, there really is no Judgment Day without those two. If you don't have Rhea and Dom in Judgment Day, then there is no Judgment Day. They are the only two that's keeping the Judgment Day together from getting or from becoming irrelevant, you know? And so by WrestleMania 39, I thought that the Judgment Day was going to disband after Edge had beat Finn Balor. I mean, he beat Demon Finn Balor. And I thought, okay, well, this is not good for Finn Balor. And I'm thinking Finn Balor should have won the match, should have beaten Edge, right? That would have been logical to give Finn Balor that big rub, to show that, okay, Judgment Day is somewhat on par with the Bloodline, right? because they've lost a lot. The Judgment Day has lost a lot of matches. But now recently they're starting to win more matches, right? And for the past two and a half months, they've really been on TV a whole lot, especially these past couple weeks. You know, they're being given a lot of TV time, and now with Finn and Damian Priest in the title picture with Seth Rollins, I'm starting to think Finn might actually beat Seth. Or another scenario could take place where Damian Priest could prove his loyalty to Finn Balor by cashing in, making a triple threat at SummerSlam, and then possibly, laying down for Finn Balor, having him, take the cover, take the pinfall, giving Finn Balor, the world title. Right? Seth Rollins could be out the match, taken out, and then Damian Priest can lay down for the 3 count and give Finn Balor the world title. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, and that would be very, very unique. It would be a very unique finish, at this point, do we really care about Seth and Finn? The only way that we can make it memorable is by doing something memorable, making it unique, instead of just having some bland finish. I mean, yeah, Damian could cash in after the match or during the match, making it a triple threat. The same way that Seth won his first world title when he cashed in the middle of the Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania, right? And won the world title that way. That could be a scenario that could bite Seth Rollins in the ass by Damian Priest cashing in the middle of the match, and then he winds up winning the world title. They could do it that way. Or, like I said before, they could have Damian Priest lay down for Finn, or do a little quick roll-up where, okay, he just rolls up Damian Priest, 1, 2, 3, new world champion. And Damian will let Finn Balor pin him for the 3 count. To, show his loyalty, to give Finn Balor, something that he never really lost, right? He never lost the Universal title. That's the whole story. 7 years of misery and just want to get vengeance on Rollins, a guy that took him out, cost him, basically the biggest push of his career at the time. And once he won that Universal Championship, he was bound to be the guy. But then in 24 hours, it was completely stripped away from him through injury. So, they have options on how they can make this memorable, because it's SummerSlam. Like, okay, at Money in the Bank, you gave us a good story, a good build-up, and then at Money in the Bank at the pay-per-view, you completely dropped the ball by giving us a very subpar, underwhelming match. Anticlimactic, if you will. The match was like 8-9 minutes, and it's like nobody's gonna remember that match even happened. We're just gonna remember the story, the build-up. So, like, this time around at SummerSlam, you got to do something memorable and give them more time. They can, Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, they can put on one hell of a match. They can definitely get a 5-star match, no doubt. But really, it's what they do after the match, or, in the middle of the match, really determines whether or not if the match is going to be memorable, And I think it's the perfect time to put the world title on either Damian Priest or Finn Balor. You know, if you want people to care about the Judgment Day, and if you want people to, you know, look at the Judgment Day as the Bloodline's equal, then you need to at least give one of them the world title to kind of legitimize the faction. Okay, Rhea Ripley has the women's world title. Dom got the North American title, which I think they should give him a long reign with the North American title. Right? Damian Priest has the briefcase. He could cash in and become Intercontinental Champion, U.S. Champion, or Universal Champion, but I don't think he's going to cash in on Roman. That's not happening. And then Finn could win the world title by beating Seth clean, or by Damian Priest inserting himself in the match via cash-in. Damian lays down for Finn. Finn wins the world title that way. And then Damian Priest, along with Finn or along with Dominic Mysterio, they can go after the tag team champions, which I think is going to happen too. Due to Kevin Owens being injured and all, they're going to have to drop those belts. And hey, at this point, why not just give Judgment Day all the damn belts on Raw? Well, not technically on Raw, but, you know, because Gunther's still Intercontinental Champion. I don't think he's not going to be touched. He's untouchable at this point. But KO and Sammy, they're bound to drop the belts. And Damian and Dom could be undisputed tag team champions. Finn could be the world heavyweight champion. Dominic's also the North American champion. And Rhea Ripley's the women's champion. So, and that's something they didn't really do with the Bloodline. They didn't really give every member of the Bloodline a title, you know. I don't think Solo was ever champion. Sammy was definitely not champion. Just the Usos and Roman. But see, with the Judgment Day, they can make every member a champion. So, and I don't think the Judgment Day is going to break up anytime soon. Hey, if they wanted to, they can bring in a new member. JD McDonough, which is Finn Balor's protege. They don't have to kick anybody out the faction, you know. They can bring someone new in, you know. And I just don't see them breaking up anytime soon. And what I'm predicting is Judgment Day is going to be eventually on the same level as the Bloodline in terms of, I'm not going to say like in terms of intrigue and storytelling and whatnot, because there's really no touching the Bloodline in terms of storytelling right now. And I don't think Judgment Day is interesting enough to, you know, to like, you know, really bring like must-see TV, you know, garner must-see TV like the Bloodline did. Like they could try, but it's going to take some work. You know, like the best, like listen, the only member they really care about the Judgment Day is Dirty Dom. That's it. You know, they champ, you know, mommy towards Rhea Ripley. But if they want to keep this whole Judgment Day thing going, then guess what? They got to do more with the group. They got to think outside the box. They got to be more creative with the group. You know, give them more storylines. You know, give me more. You know, like you got to do something fresh, especially after SummerSlam with the group. Because if you're just going to have them still be a team and a faction, and if you're gonna give them a lot of TV time going forward, then the least you can, you know, the least that they can do is give us more of a reason to care about the group. Because I can guarantee you right now, a lot of people, a lot of fans don't care about the Judgment Day. Some do, some don't. Some can care less about the Judgment Day. I mean, I guarantee some people turn the TV off when they see the Judgment Day because it's a constant. They're not interesting enough. They're not. They're just kind of there, you know. But like I said, if you don't have Dominic Mysterio, if you don't have Rhea Ripley in Judgment Day, then guess what? There is no Judgment Day. Because I believe they complete Judgment Day. They've done more with Dominic Mysterio. They've given him more of a direction, more to do, you know. And me personally, they're not going to reach the same level as the Bloodline. You know, they're just not. They can get close, they can try, but they're never going to really achieve that status that the Bloodline achieved. You know, I think we'll remember the Judgment Day as a solid faction. But if we're comparing them to, like, you know, the biggest factions in WWE, like Evolution, DX, Legacy, you know, NWO, the Hart Foundation. I mean, they don't compare to those groups, you know. Like they don't compare to the Shield, you know. I would probably say that they rank pretty low in terms of factions, you know. I mean, I thought the Hurt Business at the time was way more interesting. And the Hurt Business 2.0 bound to happen. You know, I believe that they'll take over the majority of TV time on SmackDown by next year. When the Bloodline storyline is completely finished, you know, they're going to need something else. They're going to need that next big thing to care about, right? For the audience to be invested. Can the Judgment Day achieve what the Bloodline achieves? I don't know. They could try, like I said, but I don't know. It's very doubtful. But all I'm saying is they're gonna have to try more with the Judgment Day. If they're gonna be given all this TV time, they're gonna have to give us a reason to care because they've lost a lot. And when we see wrestlers or tag teams or factions, they just lose a lot, then the fans are conditioned to really see them as losers. And, you know, Roman, the Usos, Solo, they didn't lose a lot. Like, they won most of their matches. They barely lost, which is what made them even more interesting, which is why you invested more time into them because, you know, they're dominant, you know. And to keep a faction looking strong, you want to have them win most of the time. So the Judgment Day collectively, they're going to have to win more matches, you know, for us to really care about them. But when it comes to the Judgment Day and like the Hurt Business 2.0, they're definitely going to be given more TV time. I mean, depending on how the Hurt Business goes, how that's played out in the future, we're going to have to see. We're going to have to wait and see with that one. But on Raw and what I'm seeing right now, the Judgment Day will be given a lot of TV time going forward. And all of them are going to be champions. After SummerSlam, when SummerSlam is over, they're all going to be champions. That's what I'm predicting. So we'll see what happens from that point on. But for now, give me your thoughts down below. What do you think? Do you think the Judgment Day? I can barely even talk. Do you think the Judgment Day is on par with the Bloodline right now? Give me your thoughts down below. Like, for the algorithm. Subscribe today. This is Irrational Wrestling Mark, and we're on another edition of Rational Wrestling Talk. Thank you all for watching, and I'm out. Peace.